can. And here I started to place these doors in place. So all of this stuff came from barbecueguys.com, very good price, all matching doors, really good quality. So I've been really happy with the components I got from them. Here's the outside walls on the propane cabinet. Here you can see the plumbing. We plumbed the house originally in the wrong place about 8 years ago. So we had the drain, hot and cold, moved over. This work I did not do myself. I had a plumber come out and do that. And here's where it was originally. So kind of a bummer we didn't put it in the right place, but we didn't have that wall on that other side at the time. Here I've started electrical. I brought 20 amp service over to that original wall when I built the house, so I just jumped off of that. There'll be 3 outlets, a switch for the disposal, and then outlets on the other side that are existing. So you can see here what I did was I brought a main line over into a outlet box, which is an extended outlet box, so that I could jump power up to the switch. This is the disposal switch. This bottom one is the disposal outlet. Here is just a constant on outlet. Here is another constant on outlet. And then the top outlet here is constant on, and that would be for the ice maker, which is going to go right here in this area. Here I'm capping each of the walls, interior cabinet walls, just like this back wall. We'll lay rebar in there and fill them with concrete. This piece here got a little tricky because if you remember, the sink has to sit in here. We had to notch this area out here because the sink was just too big for these walls, and it worked out great because we got a really big sink with a smaller cabinet space, but this was the work that had to be done in advance to make it fit. And then also there's pipes in here to allow the propane hoses to go through from this propane area over all the way around to the grill. You can see these wood spacers. This is where the undermount sink to allow space once this wood is popped out after the concrete is poured. And here we are pretty much ready for concrete. This is your final height minus granite, so it's really important that all of this is level because the granite ideally is going to sit right on that with very few spacers. This turned out to be quite a job. Weber does not want any flammable material within 24 inches, any flammable construction material, so all of this had to be made in concrete to house the side burner. This is going to be, these lines here are going to be the base for under the side burner. It'll be solid concrete and it'll protect whatever's in this cabinet from any kind of heat. It'll be about 4 inches, so there's no way any heat's getting through there. And here's the forms for the top over the fridge. So here we are, it looks like just about ready for the concrete pour, which we just did in buckets. Here I put some steel in here just as a precaution because I wasn't sure how much that concrete would weigh and I didn't want it falling down in, so I built a full form with steel. And here we are filling it with concrete and then just floating out the surface. Once you start this, you really got to finish it all at once, so you can see it's getting a little dark out. That actually worked out better because it allowed the concrete to cure slowly overnight, so I didn't get any cracks or separations in that pour. And the pour had to be pretty wet to get it all the way down into the walls. You can see how the moisture's coming through the mud from the existing build. But anyway, here's a kind of a panoramic view of after all those caps were poured. Here's all the grill parts. Finally got to the point where I had to assemble the grill. Here's the cabinetry. I'll build the front of this out of wood to cover the 2 propane tanks. And here's the propane hoses that come through. Again, constantly going back and forth, making sure that all this stuff fits. Here we dry tested the propane just to make sure there was no leaks and I was getting sufficient pressure because I've got about a 8-foot run here, well, 6-foot run here, and then a 15-foot run all the way around to the grill, and I get plenty of pressure. Here's the propane line behind the grill, laying right on top of that drain. And this is just another view of all this. Here's the propane lines. I tried to keep them away from, you know, any electrical or anything, you know, just to be safe. And I did spray these with soapy water multiple times to ensure no leaking. Here's the Summit grill in position, and you can see the clearance is about 1/8 of an inch. This looks really great. However, I would have made it a little bigger next time because the grill expands and that becomes very tight as the grill is hot. It's not cracking anything, but that 1/8 inch space goes away on either side. Here's the propane, here's the side burner. Also with this side burner, here it is lit at night. This is a flat surface mount side burner. That turned out to be a really good idea. It was kind of an accident, but the reason why is it just extends the counter space, you'll see later. Here's the wood frame for the front of the propane cabinet. I left a vent at the bottom. Propane's heavier than air, so you know, venting it on the bottom is a must. And then I glued and screwed concrete board to the front of it to act as a substrate for the travertine tile that I'll do, and constantly dry fitting the doors to make sure everything's level and smooth. That's what that'll look like when it's done. Here's the garbage can, so began to frame that out right off the existing measurements, and then covered that with concrete board and dry fit to ensure that it fits. This was kind of a pricey option, but the space was there for it and we use it all the time, so it was a good idea. I realized that I needed to vent the back of the refrigerator a little late, so I had to break through this wall with a saw and a hammer, and that turned out to be a big job, but it had to be done because there needed more circulation behind the fridge. I painted it black, masked it off and painted it flat black so that if you looked into the vent you wouldn't see concrete. That turned out to be a pretty smart idea because it just looks dark in there when you look through the holes on this vent. And then I just epoxied this vent to the concrete and I'll tile right over it. I figured this would be the least, you know, it would look the best if I did it this way. I found a floor outlet that I changed this out to be black to match everything else, but I needed an outlet somewhere in this area for the rotisserie, and a stainless steel floor outlet mounted in the granite turned out to be the best idea. And we also went ahead and replaced the ceiling fans out on the patio at the same time. So here's the sink mounted in place, and you can see this gap here was necessary to fit this lip, and you can see it comes clean over to the ice maker. Great big nice sink. It appears to be too high, and that's because the granite makes up that difference. Then when I turned my attention to the side burner, I had to build an extra bit of concrete here and then across in the back just to get a perfect fit. They want 1 inch on either side and 1 inch in the back. So I just made it exactly how the specs say. And here it is, pretty much ready for granite. Here's another view. This little area here is also wood frame, pressure treated with concrete board on the outside. And then we did some lighting, and now we're just kind of waiting for the granite guys. So this is the piece of granite that we chose, and this will be the diamond travertine that we're going to put on the outside. Here's that little area behind the side burner that I needed to pour to fill in the air gaps, because we don't want any heat getting back in there. And again, that's just right off the specs from Weber. We had a guy come out and